So Neil Rule, sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
And here we go. Welcome to Big D Energy.
Big D!
Thanksgiving week. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule, who is in the Caribbean right now with a dude that dressed like Santa Claus wearing shorts. Did you see that picture he posted on his IG?
Of course I did. You know, living his best life. Doing it because Spenny can't do it.
Yeah, that's right. He's doing it for all of us.
Absolutely.
That's one thing you gotta love.
The wind chill might be 86, but the wind chill's 84. It's got to tough it out.
That, of course, is Darren McCarty. He is in today and tomorrow as well, right, Darren?
Yeah, and I'll be doing the pregame show, Booner. And myself will take you to the pregame show. Maybe the guys that get left behind for Thanksgiving, but we're going to entertain it. We're going to do the live stream. So next 3 days, you'll have as much DMAC as you can ingest.
I'll be here for the entire live stream, too.
Will you really?
Yeah.
Oh, and Stick.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Already committed.
It'll be old school.
Yeah, the OGs.
And then you're doing the post game?
Yeah, post-game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving for the past 3 years has been spent at Woodward Sports. It was funny, 2 years ago when we were at the Brass Rail for the first time, we didn't communicate well with them, and something got messed up to where they were closed after the game for their staff for Thanksgiving. So the post-game show was just me and Anson and their staff just sitting in the lobby doing the post-game show. That was a fun Thanksgiving.
A few years ago. Like little behind it's had to have been a lot more enjoyable doing the post games this year, right?
Oh man, this year has been an insane year. Like Spencer and I were talking about it during the post show. We just don't know how to act, right? I just have no idea.
But the self-awareness that it's new,
yes,
and then it's okay, and everybody does it differently, which is cool. At the end of the day, what you saw the other night is that's what good teams do. And better teams win. I
want to talk to you about that because I have a specific question I was thinking about on the way in that I wanted to get your pro perspective on. But first, let me introduce you to the rest of the people. We have Spencer in the TD booth. Half the heavyweights right there, the smarter half. And then, of course, we have old Cotton Hands Gentry. Woo! Cotton Hands Gentry.
The old soft sneezer himself.
If you joined us yesterday, you know that Lindsey Hunter has now coined Michael Gentry, Cotton Hands Gentry.
Dude.
Which is probably one of the greatest nicknames I've ever. It seems like he's like a 1920s basketball player.
He's got silky mitts.
That's or like a baseball player from the olden times.
Yes, and now coming up to bat, number 22, Cotton Hands Gentry. Cotton Hands Gentry.
I do want to give a shout out to Lindsey. He hooked me up with some Piston tickets yesterday to go see Jokic. Obviously, that didn't go so well, but shout out Lindsey.
Shout out Lindsey.
Shout out Lindsey. Always.
All right,
great
Darren.
seeing him on the pregame show too.
Yeah, Lindsey's fantastic. All right, here's the question I wanted to ask you about the game Sunday, because I've heard both sides of this argument, and it's interesting to me. A win is a good win at all costs. We can all agree on that, right? But is it disappointing to play down to your competition like that and have to come back and win against the Bears? Or in the locker room, is it like, hey, we got the job done, on to the next one?
Well, you have to have self-awareness of what you have to improve. And there are some glaring questions and some questions that people were that it's not fire Aaron Glenn, but there are questions about this defense. Now, you have to give them credit because when they needed it, they got it done. This is the NFL, right? It's tough to win in this league no matter what. As long as you're self-aware of what you have to improve in, no, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It does not matter. You know when it'll matter, Stick? When this is the norm. When we are going to the playoffs and going to be like NFC championship team in the next couple of years, it's sort of like when you're expected to do it and whatever, then you can question it, right? We question San Francisco and we question Philadelphia and we question Kansas City, but they're at the top of the league. We don't need to question. We just have to look and say, are they aware in Allen Park in practice that there are some big deficiencies? I believe that they are, but at the end of the day, they find a way to win, and that's something that you just need to do regardless. Are you going to seriously sit here if you get outplayed in your playoff game, but you win, give a shit? Absolutely not. So the conversations have to be there. You have to be self-aware of what you need to improve, and you can't continue to do it that way. If you feel like you pulled one out, rabbit out of the hat or whatever, you can't go to the well. too many times. I hope that this was the wake-up call, so to speak, for Thursday, because Green Bay found a way to win. And it was awesome that the Broncos found a way to win and snap that Minnesota win streak. But we're in control of our destiny here. We're sitting here this morning, number 2 ranked team in what, the NFL?
Yeah. In the NFL, not the NFC, but the NFL,
which means both. And so yes, there's so much improvement in all aspects that we can, but the bottom line is it's different because we can win these games just like other good teams. What do we say all the time about other teams? Man, they didn't have their best, but they found a way to do it.
Right. And I think the most important thing out of what you just said, too, to take away that everybody's listening to right now is that you can't keep doing this, right? It's okay to have a couple one-offs. It's okay to play down to your opponent every once in a while. But if your every week turns into a struggle, Lindsay and I were talking about this yesterday. Next thing you know, you turn into last year's Vikings, right? Where all your wins had to be struggles to get. And one little thing could go wrong and your whole record could be flipped on its head. The thing I like about this Lions team is they've shown they can beat down bad opponents. They've shown they can beat down good opponents. They've just happened to struggle the last 2 games. If it starts to become a habit, then yeah, the concern should start piling up a little. Don't you think?
And have they struggled in the same department in the last few games? I mean, the penalties and in the secondary and some of those throws. But again, especially in the first half, we still question marks in containing a mobile quarterback, right? So these are questions that I'm sure that they're having. In Allen Park. So, yeah, new test, new game against what Green Bay brings here, but it'd be a wake-up call. Now, 8-2 teams and teams that win, and they know, they look around and go, hey, we got away with that one a little bit. They got to be ready to jump out, and I expect them to come out real hard on Thursday.
Yeah, because there were times when you were playing for the Red Wings, like there's teams that just on paper you should have beat, but then all of a sudden they show up one night and it's a different. How does that affect you when you're a pro? Like, wait, we should beat these guys 99 times out of 100. This can't be the one time today.
This must be the 100th time. I mean, you just can't. The bottom line, our mentality: don't lose back to back.
Yeah.
That was the whole Red Wing mentality, and Scotty Bowman is don't lose 2 games in a row. No matter where it is, be 75% at home and 500 on the road, which we were better than that on the road. But you'd go through a season, try not to lose two games in a row. That's an accomplishment. At the end of the day, you're looking up and you're fighting for the top of the league.
Well, if anybody hasn't been following around Big D Energy for the last couple years, I think out of everybody on Woodward Sports, D-Mac has been the most measured and the most intelligent about approaching not only the Lions but Dan Campbell.
You put my clock into your mouth.
That clock was almost spot on. It's scary.
The clock.
Do you guys address that at all on this show?
Clock?
Yeah, no. I mean, as soon as the clock expired, right, Dan Campbell was fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. Like it. How did you know, D-Mac? How did you know?
Because it's progress. Right? What do? I just go by experience and then try to translate how it works in other sports. But culture is the same thing. And when you see it, and you go back, I look on the X Twitter machine or whatever like this, you see clips of Dan Campbell's interviews from a few years ago.
Yes.
Right? My biggest thing is because you just listen when they talk, and then if they talk, right, where Dan Campbell, like Steve Yzerman, right, says it and then does it or explains it. What the biggest thing, Stick, and you haven't been here, I bring it up all the time. Dan Campbell realized, and I go back to this, that he realized that, man, I have to make it like every one of my starters will go down, and then what are we going to do for it? This is 2 years ago, prepared. That's what they prepared for. Now, you add that into Brad Holmes' draft and the coaches and everybody all in. It's not always hunky-dory. The ships are out at seas. You're going to hit stormy waters, but you know what? Every man on that ship in Allen Park is working to bail the water out, right, or working, there's not as Terry Foster, Uncle Terry says, 3 Mile Island, where the special teams is this way, the offense, they're all in together. And you know what? One of the things about Dan Campbell, right? How did I know this? Because I looked the man in the eye and I shook his hand. I'm not always right, right? I had a good feeling. I'm the one who's going to say I missed it on Patricia because the Patricia smoke. No, but the BS,
yeah.
right? It was more BS than genuine. Dan Campbell's genuine, and he's going to work, on all these things to get better. But it's not just him. What does he always say? When he goes to the players of the thing, and then he talks about his coaches.
Yep.
Right? All layers and stuff like that. You look at the game ball went to the other day, right? It went to Hutch for that because you know what? What Dan Campbell's saying to Hutch there and everybody in the locker room is, we see your effort, big fella. That you might not be getting the sacks or whatever. Well, it's just that you're the integral part and you're the mainstay of this. We're gonna sort of give you some help. So this is all learning, right? Remember why do we always have to learn when we lose? You can learn when you win too, and not put yourself in that same position again.
And that's the good thing about this win is it feels like a loss in some ways because they didn't play their best game. They played uncharacteristic on offense. Defense, I give a lot of credit to for holding the Bears to what they did with 4 turnovers. It's very hard to do that. But I was sitting here during the watch party preparing myself for a loss. Like, all right, after this, they're 7-3. It still looks fine. They're a good team. I'm not worried about it. Do you think they were mentally preparing themselves for a loss, and then when you get the win, it still feels like the loss? You're going to be that more motivated going into next week?
No,
or Thursday?
video, right?
Video.
Okay, so after the game, you're going to enjoy it. Dan Campbell's going to let them enjoy it, and then when they go back to video on Monday, that's when there's screaming and yelling about the BS about how we can't do this, right? And you know what? The best part, who's the most accountable and the most at fault, playing the worst game in the uniform, but finding a way to get it done is Jared Goff.
Yeah.
So he's the first one that's going to stand up there and go, I got to be better. He's going to be better. So if it starts there and they still found a way to win, you're in a better position. But no, they're not aloof to the fact that, whoa, we got away with one here.
Yeah, and that if they can use that almost loss to their advantage like it was an actual loss, I think we're going to see an absolute beatdown on Thursday.
Well, I hope so.
I hope so, too.
But again, Green Bay found a way to get it done in the most dire
Romeo
need.
Dobbs, baby!
Yeah, I hope that, hopefully we get a lot more pressure and we can put, Jordan Love on the ground a lot more.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup because Jordan Love, he's elusive, but he's not like a scrambling quarterback, right? He can use his legs, but he's not anywhere near to what Justin Fields is with his legs. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they address that issue.
Not many
on
are
Thursday.
like Justin Fields with his legs. Like, dude, honestly,
yeah, he's a great running back. Horrible quarterback, great running back.
Watch him take off.
Yeah,
right. There's
great running back. Horrible quarterback. Horrible quarterback. What?
I wouldn't say he's a horrible quarterback.
Everybody's praising how good of a game he played, and he threw for 170 yards. Yeah. Like that's the litmus test for that guy in his quarterbacking. Yeah, if he throws for 170,
he had a more game plan though.
There's more game. Yeah, he doesn't have a good offensive.
Made a good throw to DJ Moore for a touchdown.
Yeah, well, we all got excuses for him, but the numbers are what they are on him. If he was a great quarterback, he would have won that game.
It's fair.
Fair enough.
You can't blow a 12-point lead with 4 points to go, and you get the ball back twice. I don't care what the play call is. Complete the pass. Lady James.
First down.
Who's telling us about Lady James?
I got it. You got to get a first down stick, and that's what the Detroit Lions have been doing about.
I'm getting my haircut after this.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, then why don't you listen to me and go to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and register to win a trip of your dreams. All expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA basketball tournament. That's right, no expense fare for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Oh, stick ran away.
All right, we got fairway.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White & Associates offer. It's called the Minute-by-Minute Listing Agreement by Mark White & Associates. Looking to buy or sell real estate, visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242, markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
And if you like meat, we got your meat here. The Fairway Packing Company. Pretty much every restaurant you go to in Metro Detroit, all the casinos, all the fine dining, if you want the same steaks that they have, but you get to cook them at home, that is where Fairway Packing comes in. Go to fairwaypacking.com right now or give them a call, 313-332-5114. Gentry bringing the smoke with the music right now. I like it. A little rainy Tuesday afternoon here in Metro Detroit. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. This is Big D Energy. That is why Darren McCarty is on the show. He brings the Big D Energy every single day. And we also have Spenmo Rex. And then, of course, my man, Michael Gentry, over there. You're fiddling with his hands again. What were you just doing? Were you cleaning your nails?
Bite my nails.
Do you bite your nails? I'm obsessed with Gentry's hands. We spent about 20 minutes on them yesterday.
Why, because they're so small?
They are small, but they're so soft.
Oh,
yeah.
Cotton mitts.
Old cotton hands, Gentry. D-Mac, in the first segment, we were just kind of talking about the Lions, what that game meant. Should they be proud of beating a team like that they should have beat? But you brought up Aiden Hutchinson and how he got the game ball and how Dan Campbell was just kind of rewarding him for continuous effort. And I know Spenmo Rex to my right does not give a damn about those quarterback pressures, right?
I don't care. Yeah.
Those mean nothing to you.
Nope.
No, I mean it's a great measuring stick or whatever, but no, we need to get to the quarter, and we did when we needed to. Now we just got to get better at it, right?
Do you think that play gets him going? Because, as a professional athlete, sometimes you're in a slump, and that's kind of what he was in, a slump of sacks getting to the quarterback. But you have that breakthrough moment, and the next thing you know, it comes easy for the next couple games, right? Do you think that's what we're going to start seeing out of Aiden Hutchinson? Is he going to return to form?
I think that's unfair in the NFL because I think it's, it's in a vacuum each game, depending on who you're going to go against, depending on what scheme is put up against you. But the one thing is he's always got the motor, and it's more or less when he's going to be smart. Yeah, exactly. You agree with me? Yeah, I agree. I stick.
I agree.
No, but it's one of those things that, yes, it helps more than it hurts, obviously. He's a motor guy, so sure. But to me, it's about who is he going up against, how are they scheming against him. I mean, it's something that he's got to learn, getting doubled almost every play and stuff like that. So to me, it's always by committee. It's not so much how many sacks he has. Are we getting to the quarterback?
But you don't think that's a momentum-building play for him?
It can be.
That's something he could trigger off of next week? Or do you think that, week to week, it's not going to translate? Just because you had a big game sealing, I wouldn't say saving, game sealing play at the end of the game.
Yes.
Is that going to get you fired up for Thursday?
More so because it's a short week. More so because you're playing 4 days, so the taste is there. It's not like you got to wait a week or something like that. I mean, there still is that buzz, right? They're not practicing much this week. It'll be like scheme and stuff like that, so you're going off the juice, and they all should go off the juice and feed off of how they ended that game. So I'm looking for a better effort, from the defense and more pressure, making it. The one thing with Jordan Love is you got to make him uncomfortable. You make him uncomfortable, he puts it up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the same with every quarterback in the NFL. You got to put pressure on, and that's one thing that the Lions have definitely been struggling to do. Spencer, I know you got a lot of opinions about that, what they could have done during the trade deadline to remedy that situation, but we are what we are now.
Yep.
This is the team moving forward. Mm-hmm. Do you think last week's game is going to, or Sunday's game, is going to spark Aiden Hutchinson and maybe spark this defense to get more pressure this Thursday?
I hope so. And like I said, I don't care about pressures. I want sacks. I want the quarterback on the ground. And yeah, pressures are nice, but good quarterbacks fight through pressures and get passes off in the face of pressure. So Jordan Love's not a good quarterback. So maybe pressures will be enough to ruin his day because he sucks. But I think James Houston needs to come back sooner than later because that is the other guy that on this roster is going to be the guy to help you get sacks. We saw him do it last year. He was a freak. He comes in. He has more sacks than games played. He's an animal. It was awesome to watch. But right now, outside of Aiden Hutchinson, there isn't an edge on the Lions roster that can consistently get to the quarterback, and that is a major problem, especially going forward when you want to play good teams with good quarterback play looking at the playoffs.
So I'm hearing you right, though, Spenny. You don't care who gets them as long as they get them. Because the interior, your boy Lee McNeil, he got 5 most since Ndamukong Suh since – he's been on the interior line, so it seems like some of those guys are doing the job. We just need more production from the outside. Yeah. Because that's what other good teams are getting.
Yeah, and you got to admit, last game, I liked AG's adjustment. I wish that would have been the game plan going in the day, because you saw in the first drive, they were just playing normal defense and letting Justin Fields run. They weren't stacking the box at any stretch. They were just trying to play a balanced defense. I don't know why they didn't realize earlier that they were playing Justin Fields, and if you stack the box, take away the run, make that guy beat you with his arm. Mm-hmm. I like the in-game adjustment, and I think that's something that AG should be praised for in that game, but I also think it's something that he should be knocked for not having that game plan going in. So do you give him more credit for adjusting on the fly, or do you discredit him for not having a...
He gets credit, don't make the same mistake. That means you're not ready to play, and then you were sort of aloof to what would work. But, is that something that you didn't think that he would roast you that hard? Because even in the second half, right, he didn't make the adjustments till late, so... Will you learn to make adjustments earlier? That's all I want. Make the right adjustments at the proper time.
Yeah, I was just shocked that the game plan going in wasn't make Justin Fields a passer. Like, that should be every NFL coach's game plan when you play the Bears. Make Justin Fields a passer. And the minute they did that, the minute they started to bring down 8-9 in the box, Justin Fields, the Bears started kicking field goals. Mm-hmm. And holding them to those 4 field goals instead of touchdowns on any of those possessions, that's, to me, the biggest point of last game. People want to knock the defense, but I think that last game was almost a highlight for the defense outside of the first drive and one throw to DJ Moore.
Okay, so let's get more, consistent. You look at, the points that being on the concerning thing is 30th in red zone on defense. So you gotta tighten it up a lot in that because it's top team. So to have the number 2 record in the league and be 30th in the red zone, you can have improvement. So yes, we need more of the consistency. You're right.
There's a caveat to that, as you love to say, because Dan Campbell addressed that about the red zone percentage. I believe it was before Monday Night Football. The red zone percentage is bad, but they don't let people into the red zone as much.
So that's good.
Right.
So apples and oranges. I think when you go by points allowed, that's why they're 8th, and it shows.
Yeah.
Right? So not letting people get in there.
But when they get in there,
so they're doing a good job of not allowing them.
Right.
But when they do, let's get better on closing it out or giving 3 points.
Yeah, it's like, the girl you meet at the bar. One girl, if you get through the front door in the red zone, it's over. They're scoring.
Nice.
But then there's the girls that won't even let you in the front door. And those are the Lions right now. And there's girls that won't let you in the back door either. Michael Gentry. You went to the Pistons game last night.
I did.
How'd that go?
It was good. I mean, it was a fun game. Had great seats, but obviously the ending down the stretch, the Pistons kind of choked it away. Some bad coaching decisions. I mean, you have 2 timeouts there at the end. You don't come out without a point. And Jokic gets kicked out in the second quarter, and you still somehow manage to lose to another team without their star player in the final 2 quarters. So
yeah, what do you think about Blaha and Kelser calling out the officials by name on broadcast, saying that nobody came there to see them? You guys didn't see that?
I was there, so I didn't.
I haven't watched the Pistons in a while.
So it got reposted by Denver's media that even Detroit announcers were calling out the refs and saying, hey, people paid money to see Jokic. Nobody paid money to see the stripes running up and down the floor.
I was literally telling them that I only go to probably a handful of Piston games a year, and I try and base it off of like when my favorite players are in town or a player that I haven't seen. And by the time I got out of the suite, it was, I want to say the second quarter was just starting, and Jokic checked in, and immediately he got tossed. So I only got to watch him for a handful of minutes.
Wait, yeah, can we go back to that? By the time he got out of the suite?
Or by the time I got to my seats, whatever you want to say.
No, I think you had it right the first. Were you in the suite yesterday?
Suite to seat?
Yes.
Lindsay's got the pull.
Whose suite were you in?
Whatever suite Lindsay is in.
Oh, look at that. Well, Cotton Hand Gentry in the suite eating the free food.
Cotton Hand coattail. There he is. LCA is his domain. Please shake Mike Gentry's hand when you see him down there tomorrow.
I want to shake his hand.
Did you get any handshakes other than mine the other night?
Not then. I didn't.
I gave you one. Spenny, I went up to him and gave him a handshake so he didn't leave.
That's fair.
So it counted.
Last time I was there, someone did come up to me. I don't know. He didn't tell me his name, but he did say BMG and gave me a handshake.
Come on, guys. If you're at LCA tomorrow and you see Gentry perusing around, somebody give him some handshakes for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Spencer, can you lock in on Gentry's face right now? This is the face you got to look for right there. You see that man walking around, you go shake his hand and tell him how soft they are.
Shake his hand. Shake my hand.
All right, we're going to talk about some more Lions coming up next. One guy I think that has surprised us all this year and could be top 5 at his position. Who is he? We're going to talk about it coming up next right here on Woodward Sports. But first, let me tell you about Hamlin Pub. They got them all over the place right now. I believe there's 7 in Metro Detroit. We did the post-game show at the one on Rochester Road, North Rochester Road, not the original on Rochester Road. But they're all over the place. Great specials on game day starting at $8. So go watch an NFL game or all Michigan sports at Hamlin Pub.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with 18 locations near you. We were at the one in Novi yesterday. Had a lot of fun with everybody out there. Shout out to Ryan Peralta for hooking it up and just hanging out. That dude's in a band. Not only does he sell cars, he's in a band on the weekend. So make sure you go out there and see Feldman in Novi. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. Welcome back to Big D Energy, live on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule as he is in the Bahamas for Oakland University basketball. Darren McCarty is here with us. Cotton Hands Gentry is in the sound booth. And, of course, we have the one, the only, Spenmo Rats.
Hello.
In the TD booth. So, one guy who I did not believe in, and you know I'm a Lions slappy. Usually I want everybody to do well, but I did not see it with this guy, especially last year. But this year, he's in the conversation about being a top 5 player at his position. And he's in the conversation about being an MVP on the defensive side of the ball for the Lions. That man is Alex Anzalone. Like I said, I was not a believer. I thought he looked slow last year. I thought he couldn't read angles. He was out of position a lot. But this year, he just pops up and makes plays. You don't really focus in on him on defense, but when you do, he doesn't miss tackles. He takes the proper angles. He doesn't miss assignments. He's calling out the defense. I mean, this guy has turned into a hell of a player for the Detroit Lions. Spencer, I know you were on the Alex Anzalone bandwagon a lot earlier than I was.
Yeah.
Why? What did you see that I didn't?
I mean, the first year we had him in Detroit, he was terrible. Like, he led the league in missed tackles. He wasn't doing anything. Last year, he played much better. He went out there, and he was making plays flying around the field. And this year, it's amazing to see what he's been doing. He's been playing at a top 10 level at his position, top 5 arguably. He is, by the numbers, the best coverage linebacker in the NFL. He had 15 tackles last week, 11 solo tackles. He had the fumble recovery. Like, the dude's flying around the field, playing sideline to sideline, and he's playing great for the Detroit Lions, so it's fun to watch.
D-Mac, what do you attribute that more to? Is Alex Anzalone figuring out the NFL or the coaching staff bringing this guy along?
No, I think that if you look it back, he's one of the guys Dan Campbell brought over from New Orleans. It's the culture thing, and I think comfortability and knowing what he talks. If I look at Alex Anzalone, I look at him as the Josh Reynolds of your defense, the guy that's turned into, and how Dan Campbell looks at Josh Reynolds on offense and how he looks at
Mr. Dependable.
Dependable.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to be in the middle. Terry Foster always says you need big body in the middle of the line, whether it's Buggs or McNeil with the big buttocks. And then you need Thor, a blonde-haired linebacker, running around middle linebacker. To me, Anzalone's quicker than he has been. I just think it's comfortability. I think it's scheme. I think it's everything else. I think that, a lot has to do with committee. A lot has to do with the way Derek Barnes has sort of stepped up and come back to be what we thought he could be. So a lot of it has to do with committee. They're still not the most polished unit, but
right.
they're there. Whether it's the tackles or, getting the forced fumbles and stuff like this. And even Jack Campbell, 9 tackles the other night, but coming along. So I think on a whole, it's by committee, but Anzalone's leading. He's their leader. He's their shot caller, play caller. He's Dan's guy. So I look at him like Mr. Dependability in Dan Campbell's eyes, like when Dan Campbell talks about Josh Reynolds on offense.
Yeah, I just look at it as yet another thing we can praise this coaching staff for. And you see it with all the rookies, this year, the 4 main rookies that are getting playing time and getting better game by game by game. And then you saw it with some of the draft picks that they were able to evolve. And if you have a coaching staff that can take a guy like Alex Anzalone, who was a whiffer on all his tackles, who wasn't in the right place, and you're able to coach him up because he has the raw athletic ability to be the guy you want. It's just such a huge weapon in player development, and that is something that the Detroit Lions have missed my entire life. It seemed like they would draft a great guy straight from college, but he would never get to an elite level. Calvin Johnson is probably the only one who improved, but that's because Calvin Johnson was a freak. Mm-hmm. They didn't make Roy Williams better. They didn't make Mike Williams better. They didn't make Kevin Jones better. They didn't make Laken Tomlinson better. I mean, I could go Gosler Chairless. They didn't make him better. Aaron Gibson. They didn't make him better. For our entire lives as Detroit Lions fans, the coaching staff would draft a guy, and that would be their skill set, and we would never see them ascend to a better player. Now it's just no matter who they draft, it's, okay, he may not be there right now. Give these guys 2 years. I guarantee he'll be up to speed, and I think that's a major case in Anzalone. All credit to Anzalone for taking the coaching, for being humble enough, and for putting in the grind to get to where he is. But the fact that we have a coaching staff that brings along players the way they do, that is what dynasties do. That's not what flash-in-the-pan teams do. That's what dynasties have. And you know that with the Red Wings and their player development.
You understand. And, hey, I apologize, Tiger Town, if, the hockey guy knows more football or whatever else. I'm talking strict culture.
Yeah.
Why don't you go back and look at what they brought here? Jared Goff, Alex Anzalone as their guys. Who do I mean? Them, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell. So this is just, what are we, 3 years into the process?
Yeah. But another example is Jared Goff. I mean, we could throw Goff in the Anzalone lane too. Like, Goff was a fraction of what he is now when he got here. And now all of a sudden, Goff walks around with some big balls. Yeah. Like Jerry Jacobs. Same thing. So it's just, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so cool to see. And it's a lesson to me, and I think other Lions fans who jump to judgment on people. Just because they're not there year one doesn't mean they're not going to be there year three. That used to be the case, but not anymore, Lions fans. We can trust that Brad Holmes sees something in a guy, and eventually that's going to show through.
Well, here's the whole thing. What we're not used to is liking the guys that we have, because what does Brad Holmes? Re-signs the same. It's a process, guys, and I know we're right in the middle of it, and look at where we're at, but they can still have improvement. We're not saying, Alec, like they're getting them. Don't you want? Isn't it about getting the best out of your players? Overachieving? Don't you want overachievers?
Right.
Can we agree your most talented, gifted guy on defense is Hutch?
Yes.
Right? But this defense is successful by committee, by all of them buying in and doing their jobs. Right? They're not. You're not going to Aaron Donald. Do we have an Aaron Donald? Or a guy who can take over a game and the last play of the Super Bowl and make a difference? I don't think that we're there yet. I think that we're creating that, but it's got to be more by committee than individually.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to make, and it's just I'm just so impressed with this coaching staff and how they brought these guys along. And like I said, it's a lesson to me not to overjump on somebody, and I think it should be a lesson to everybody. Like, just take pause. You know, if your guy's not there yet, just hold on. Give these guys some time to mold them.
Well, isn't Jameson Williams the same thing? As we hear. I don't know. I listened to Dan Campbell and Jared Goff and guys going, he practiced good. He's getting reps. They're having confidence in it, whatever like this. Oh, next thing you know, he's throwing the ball. Like, it doesn't matter who the hell you throw it to. It's the confidence of your quarterback. And it's starting that first rounder that everybody, not everybody, some people are shitting on that is a bust.
Yeah. Anson.
You're going to bust one out inside your head. He's going to bust one out.
Did you watch the post-game show? Because Anson and I literally went at it for 20 minutes about Jameson Williams being a bust. And it's like, you can't use the word bust yet either way.
Is this not his first year? Like, I mean, I know that, like, he didn't even...
But beyond that, D-Mac, to the conversation we're having right now, do you not trust that the coaching staff is bringing him along in a proper manner? Like, you see it. You saw it with Jahmyr Gibbs early in the season. Everybody was bitching. I was bitching. Hey, why aren't we using Jahmyr Gibbs more? I want usage out of this guy. But once again, the coaching staff proved, hey, it's about timing, it's about fitting him into the offense, and it's about making sure we're putting him in positions to succeed.
No, it's
and
about him maturing and growing up and earning that and proving that he wants to be there and be one of them. What did Dan Campbell say? The herd has accepted him. And that's what you want, so that means he's doing his job. And you know what? I don't think it's as much as Dan Campbell as it is Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penny Sewell, that offensive line, all those guys in that room. That's why it works.
Yeah, and it's been working. And so anybody that's complaining about J-Mo, I don't see it. And I trust this coaching staff to do the right thing with them. But going back to the culture that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built, it's about drafting guys, too, that are willing to take coaching. And it's about drafting guys that want to get better. Because I'm sure you played with guys at the professional level that thought they were finished products the minute they made it pro. Like, I made it, I'm a pro, kick my feet up, work ethic doesn't get better from here. This is what got me here, I'm just going to continue to do it. And I'm sure you played with other guys that's like, holy shit, I'm a pro now, I better turn up my training from this level to 11.
It was easy in our room. All you had to do is look around. You play with all the Hall of Famers. You look around and you just follow Steve Eisman and Chris Draper and, you know, Nick Lidstrom and do what they do. So it's easy when you got leadership. You just shut your brain. That's the whole thing. you just shut it off and go do. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to know why you're doing it. Just do it. It's easy when you have that leadership.
It's easy, but how hard is it to get that culture?
What do you want, though?
I want that.
No. How hard is it to get that call? Well,
Yeah.
it's hard because you got to build it.
Yeah.
And it's got to start from the word down. But when it starts running itself, that's what it is. Here's pro sports. You want to know if you have to have this. So ask about any of your teams, right? When any one of their players look right or look left, and that person is more important than they are to themselves, you got a chance. And that's what we're seeing.
And I think that goes back to the interview before Monday Night Football when Dan Campbell was in tears talking about the guys in the locker room that knew they weren't talented enough to win, but just went out there with heart and did it. And that is what established that in the locker room, right? Like
playing for each other.
If you're coming to Detroit, you're playing for each other. It's a bunker mentality. We're in the foxhole. We're going to do this, even though we know that we're lacking a little bit of talent right now.
And that's it. And then you trust in the fact that you've hired a guy in Brad Holmes and your general manager that can identify talent and can draft talent, right? So the biggest thing is that you can add that caveat, right, to the free agent, the trade, all that other stuff when you're solidified with the heart in your pro. And we got it. We know what this team's all about.
Yeah.
They've proven it, right? Like, I mean...
It's like the Big Bang Theory to me, though. Like, what started
the
that?
show or the...
No, not the show. The scientific Big Bang Theory.
The chicken or the egg?
Yeah, like, what started that in the locker room for the Lions? What was the turning point in the locker room for the Lions to where it became a locker room of accountability, work ethic, and beyond? Because you can have a coach that preaches all that, but you can have a bunch of assholes that don't follow that, too,
No,
right?
but it's getting the right guys in. That's what they had to break it down, and they used it more or less through the draft. So if you're going to use who's the pivotal part of that, it's the Penei Sewell. You know, it's the Deckers, the Ragnows, the guys. Where did you build it? Where's your strength? You started in the meat and potatoes and in that area. Then you added a Jared Goff, who is, I don't care what you say, the leader of these merry men.
Yeah.
And so you better, have some trust. And the fact that on his worst day that we've seen, he still found a way at the end, put him in a position to win. That's what I like.
I like it too. You know what else I like? A little bit of Premier.
A little bit of Premier Pet Supply. Take care of the doggos. Get Woody some nice toys.
Woodward the pup.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. Over 60 brands of food. Lowest prices and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Just in time for football, Glorious Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good. It's like the whip of the first playoff win in 31 years. A gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are missing out. Ask Stick. They're so smooth. Find out this dispensary for 25% off. Code word Woodward Glorious or www.gloriouscanna2ns.com.
Yeah, was it Broder that brought that over to the bi-week barbecue at my house?
Oh, yeah, the Honolulu Blue.
Yeah.
Nice little.
Yeah, why weren't you there, Spence? Where were
Nice
you?
little blue barrage.
Where were you?
I was dead. I was recovering from the night before.
Oh, and Gentry, you didn't show up either.
I had my son that weekend.
Oh, yeah, your son that weekend?
I did text you about that.
Oh, that's right. You did text me. You were supposed to come over late, though, right?
No.
No? All right. Yeah, we do a bye-week barbecue. Every time the Lions have a week off, pretty much gives everybody here at Woodward Sports a week off. There's no pregame show. There's no postgame show. There's no watch party. So we do a barbecue over at my house. This is the third year in a row we've done it.
Any big highlights from the barbecue? Anybody did Juicy Jeff Iafredi show up?
Jeff was there. Yep, Jeff was there.
Did he have a bitch out moment?
How much did I pay Jeff?
Yeah.
His appearance fee was $500. But Braylon showed up. I mean, it was a good time. I mean,
it always is.
We got to watch some football, and I got the new crib now with the nice Neo Rule style basement with multiple TVs, so we can watch multiple games.
Your house is beautiful.
We had some good barbecue going on.
You do have a beautiful house.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, excited about that new place. It went from Southfield to White Lake.
That's what it's all about.
You want to talk about a culture difference? My goodness, it's wild out there. it's a whole different ball game in White Lake. I got to be honest with you. This is the first time since I was 17 years old that I've lived more than 4 miles outside of the Detroit city limits. It's so bizarre to live that far away from downtown Detroit.
Do you have a yard?
Oh yeah, nice yard.
Do you have a snowblower and is it gonna be that type of?
Yeah, it's Pleasantville. Take care of your house, shovel the lawn, make sure you got your house decorated for Christmas. It's already a competition in the neighborhood. Not yet.
Okay.
But the neighbors went all out.
Spenny, you got your decorations up?
No, I don't think we're doing decorations.
Gentry?
Nope. I actually got to do them this weekend.
Yeah, the neighbors went all out. It's a competition now. Do you do yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go on the roof and everything. It's brutal.
I can't go on the roof. I don't have health insurance.
Yeah, be safe if you're up top on the roof.
Yeah.
No need.
Well, either way, Mike G. Shout out to Mike G in the chat, who's been in the chat since day one, too. Shout out to the OGs.
Mike G.
That are all
Detroit
in the chat.
Tammy Chin.
I do not have 3 furnaces.
Jen.
I only have 1. So, yeah, it's not that big of a place. Yeah. It's a nice place, but it's not a 3-furnace type place.
Not everyone can be.
I got that video you sent, Stick.
Well, no.
And the comments.
You got the comments?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was floating around. I tweeted it out this morning. It goes back to Dan Campbell's initial press conference when he's talking about biting kneecaps. We're first getting acclimated to the character that is Dan Campbell. And I think we all know the speech by now. If you want to play the video.
Yep, I got you.
So this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing, all right? That's going to be the mentality. All right, and we're going to learn that any loss that we take, we're going to make sure we feel the full pain of it and not go numb to it and learn from it.
I don't know why that was so quiet.
But. Yeah, the audio was low on that, but you know the kneecap speech, right?
Love it.
So this is the thing I love about living in a social media world is there are receipts, and they exist on the internet. And if you look at some of the responses to Dan Campbell and where we are today to what they thought, I mean, look at some of these. This isn't going to work. And the Detroit Lions have just started their search for a new coach in 2022. Holy crap, I could spend an hour just laughing at the comments on here. This is an absolute shit show. Like, that was the response. Remember, was it Joy? Was it Colin Cowherd?
Joy Taylor, yeah.
Joy Taylor, when he put on the helmet for the Grand Prix, she went on air and started bashing this guy. How far we have come to Dan Campbell. And it took everything in me this morning when I came across that thread to not respond to every single one of those assholes. Like, every single person who clowned Dan Campbell, thought that you were the smartest man in the room, thought this guy was going to fail. We're rooting for this to fail. I wanted to remind you of what you were thinking during that day and point to where they are now, because this doesn't happen without Dan Campbell.
Well, everything that he said, and I don't think that they're straight into the assassin mode of the kneecap biting off, but whatever else, they take punches and they get back up. And you know what? They have been the last man standing more times than not. Whether he believed it, whether there's a few of us that believed it to give him the chance, now he's proven it. That's the one thing. And I'll tell you this, everybody in that organization, no matter what you're doing, right, believes in this guy. And it's beautiful. Because what he says, I'm seeing.
Right, and to me, that's the most like poetic part about all of this, you know, because you didn't know at the time. It was just like, oh man, the kneecaps thing. Like we have T-shirts up on the store, Dan Campbell kneecaps on a cereal box and stuff like that. It became kind of a joke.
Kneecap soup, baby.
Kneecap
I got
soup.
that shirt.
Yeah, Campbell's kneecap soup. But now you're seeing it come to fruition. And when's the last time a guy came into town, told you what he's gonna do, and did it?
Scotty Bowman.
Let him cook.
You know.
Well, did Scotty do that? Did Scotty lay it down like
Pretty
that?
much. Well, that's why he was brought in.
Yeah.
If it took us a while, it takes time. But you know what? When you look at your coach and the coach's mentality, and here's the thing, right? Dan Campbell's learned. Dan Campbell's grown. And so has his players. You know, they're not heathens, right? But they're out there playing hard, working hard. You know, you just got to go to their best players. Best players are their hardest working players. You know, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I agree. I left him out as far as, but the Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Penny Sewells, you know, adding to with that offensive line. The coaching staff, don't sleep on those guys. Ex-players. I said this 2 years ago when he's putting his staff together. That's what you want. Not only does it give you credibility and respect from players coming in, but also too guys that have been there, done that, know what it's like. So you know the Hank Fraley's, the Randall L's, you know all these different guys, and he's made a couple moves that needed to be made throughout this process. It hasn't been scot-free. There has been casualties.
As a player, do you feel it's more important to be coached by a player, a former player?
Well, I wasn't.
Yeah.
So no.
Okay.
But I was coached by a winner. You know, and a guy. You know, like here's the whole thing. Like like Scotty Bowman, who didn't play, but he had the rings, and you realize early on, and we all realized early on that you know what, he was smarter than you. That he had a game plan and he liked to collect rings. So you know what? He was 5 moves ahead of you, like the Gary Kasparov, Bobby Fischer, best chess players, and you just went along with it.
Did you ever play for a player coach?
Like
a coach?
Mike's when I came back in Grand Rapids, played for Craig Fraser and Mike Stuthers.
Okay.
Who had both. Mike Stuthers was a minor league tough guy. It was awesome. I love playing, you know, for guys that have played because they understand, especially the role that I played. There's a lot of respect that goes into that. But again, you know, on the bench, see, I always say that the secret weapon for our team was obviously all the players and that, but Dave Lewis, our assistant coach, he was the former player, so he was the good guy. He was the good cop, where Scotty was the bad cop, and Barry Smith was sort of, you know, was Scotty's messenger, but Louis was the guy that would stand in between players. So you need that in the communication of things.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting because, you know, you hear that a lot. Well, you never played. You don't know, you know, especially when you're talking about media, talking heads. That seems to be the rebuttal whenever athletes are on ESPN and they want to throw something at a Skip Bayless or they want to throw something at a Stephen A. Yeah, I think it was Jalen that just did that a little bit ago to one of the guys, too. He's like, listen, you never played. You don't know. And
well,
part of me understands that logic because I don't understand the locker room culture. I don't understand what it takes to be a professional athlete. But that doesn't mean I'm not seeing what I see, right?
No, but if you see, here's having a conversation. If you can relate, yeah, you can relate because you work in this office. You know, like the you know, Woodward Sport, like you've worked. It's sort of that mentality of a team. So it all depends on where the person's coming from. What us former athletes don't like is when you didn't play and you tell us how it is.
Okay.
Don't tell us how it is. Give me your opinion on what you think it is, because then that gives a basis. If you're just talking about how you see it, and sometimes they don't tell me what I experienced. I'll tell you from my eyes. You can tell me your truth of how you saw it, and I'll tell you how it was inside of it, and maybe it gives a different perspective. right? A lot of times when you get angry or you want your point, you're not looking for the truth. You're looking just to shut somebody up.
So honestly, just thinking about it while you were talking, Dan Campbell may be the best player coach in Detroit sports history. The best coach who used to play. Because outside of Chuck Daly was the champion coach for the Pistons. He was not in the NBA. Larry Brown, he played in the ABA, but he didn't make it to the NBA.
Did Sparky play?
I don't know if Sparky played or not. But what made me think of that was Alan Trammell played. It did not work out well here, and he was a hell of a player.
Brad Osmus
played. That didn't really work out here.
Mo Cheeks
played. That didn't really work out here.
Yeah.
So just thinking about it, I can't think of another former player who's become a head coach, at least in Detroit, that's had more success than Dan Campbell.
Especially right now, or Ken, right? Or can be there. So that's something new. So if you're breaking that down, then us as fans, this is a little bit different also. Right? The closest thing to it, would it be Steve Yzerman being the general manager of the Red Wings?
Venom's got a good point. Bill Lambier. He won three championships with the Sparks.
With the Sparks.
Yeah.
Are we going to count that?
Yeah.
I love Bill Lambier. I thought he should have got a shot at the Pistons coaching at all time. But listen, 5 championship Av got tore down with the Palace, and so did everything that went along with the Sparks.
So
remember when? Are you thinking about the All-Star stats that you and Easy went over? That's one of my favorite segments on the heavyweights of all time. All-rookie team in the WNBA, and the girls' stats were what were they spent?
Like 0.5 points per game, or like 1.5 points per game, 0.3 assists per game. It was something. That was
somebody brought up Rick Carlisle.
Did Carlisle play in the NBA? I don't think so. No way.
I don't know. I'm sticking to hockey.
Yeah, I'm sticking to hockey. Well, but it's just fun to think about those things.
Yeah, the Shock.
So to that point,
what'd you call them? The Sparks?
I call them the Sparks. They were the LA Sparks when they got sold.
Dude, I went to a championship game for the WNBA because my buddy was like, "Hey, I got some tickets. Let's go." We sat courtside. I thought it was a preseason game with how many people were in there. It was crazy. Like, it was the championship series, and there were maybe 2,000 people inside the Palace. Then they went away.
Huh?
And I don't know. Are they still around?
Didn't they go to
Sparks.
Tulsa? They're still the Sparks, I think.
Didn't they go to Tulsa?
I thought they went to L.A.
No, the L.A. is the Sparks. We're talking about the Shock.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Shock got sold to L.A.
I don't know. Either way, Dan Campbell, hell of a coach.
You guys are big fans. Big fans.
Yeah.
Big fans. And me and Spencer are starting a WNBA podcast coming up soon.
Yeah, electric stuff.
Called The Stuff We Do Not Know. One thing I do know, though, if you're looking for a great place to work out and work off some of that weight that you're going to gain over the holidays, because Turkey Day is almost here, Christmas is almost here, and I know you ate all that candy for Halloween. So you got to go to Planet Fitness. There's one near you, and for only $10 a month, you can join today. Your fitness is essential.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Equip Co. official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators. It's going to snow soon, so get your Snow X plows and salters. Outdoor Equip Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it, zero. Yes, 0% financing. Delivery to your doorstep. Contact them today, outdoorequipco.com.
Welcome back to Big D Energy live on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule today. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. We have Darren McCarty here, Michael Gentry in the sound booth, and of course, Ben Mo Rex holding it down in the TD booth. Big game coming up on Thursday. One thing Spencer and I were talking about during the postgame is it seems like every game this year, there's something on the line for the Lions. It seems like every game they got to prove something. Even when they're playing a 3-7 Bears team, it's like, all right, if they lose this game, it changes so much, right? In every game, you're kind of hanging on more than you ever have. And Spencer and I got into a conversation. Spencer's been more mad about the Lions this year with their best winning record in 60 years than when they were a horrible losing franchise, because now you have expectations.
Yeah,
right,
now there's something to root for. Now every week matters. Every game matters. Like, you think back, last year we were talking about mock drafts after week 6. Like this now, every game matters. You want to try to get that 1 seed. It's going to be really tough now, especially with Philadelphia getting that big win last night. But every week matters. Every win matters. Every play matters for this Lions team going forward.
What part of it's a one-score league? Does that, like, it doesn't matter who you play, right? And this, I love it where Dick Campbell hasn't improved and hasn't done it. He's 8-2. Like, I mean, you want to bitch and moan. Some people would rather be 2-8 because it's comfortable, no expectations. But now you got expectations. You even got the commissioner coming out saying, hey, networks are calling on Detroit to flex the schedule to primetime games. You're in it. It's real. You haven't played a 60-minute game in a while.
Yeah.
If you have, there's improvement to be made. Enjoy where you're at. Look what you did well to get here. Look what you need to improve on, and back to work. The beauty is the way the schedule is gone, and the fact that it doesn't matter how you did it. You figured out a way to win it in San Diego. You figured out a way to win it coming home. You had 3 games in 11 days. You got the short week. So does Green Bay coming home. There should be no excuse. You got time off after that to even get guys more healthy. You're set up for success in the best way, and I think that they realize that. Now it's to go out and tighten it up. That's all it is. Tighten it up.
That's been one of the hardest parts for me as a fan for the past 42 years of my life, is trying to enjoy the moment, right? Like, this is something we've all wanted our entire lives. It's finally here, but it's odd to approach it because, A, it almost doesn't seem real, right? Like, this almost doesn't seem like this is actually happening to the Detroit Lions, to the point where even the NFL now is going to prioritize them. When has that ever happened?
Mm-hmm.
Ever?
Roger Goodell pulling up in Detroit when they play the Bears.
When has the commissioner ever given a shit about Detroit? Period.
Never.
Not once, not ever. I mean, they talked about taking away the Thanksgiving Day game, not giving us more Thanksgiving. Oh, it used to be an embarrassment to have the Lions every Thanksgiving. So it's just so bizarre to watch this, because I'm with Spencer. Like, my heart's pounding this season. I'm on the edge of my seat this season, but I'm also enjoying the hell out of that stress that I've never had before, because this is what winning feels like. This is what it used to feel like when I watched the 2004 Pistons, like palms sweating, engaged, rewatching every game. When we used to watch the 96, 97 Red Wings, every game, every puck touch just becomes so much more important, when in reality, it's really not that more important than it was 2 years ago. Like, you still needed those plays, but now it's just like everybody is just fists clenched, I feel.
Right, and doesn't anybody not enjoy the fact that you're never out of it? Because you have that offense, right, and stuff like that. The question is, can you stop or shut down? And what it seems to me, Stick, is you nailed it earlier on. If you go back and rewind and watch at the beginning, you were breaking it down. Adjustments earlier. Do we make these adjustments? We finally made the right adjustments in that Chicago game, but you're looking not so much that we don't have the adjustments to make. It's just making the right ones earlier, whether it's offense or for the most part in the last few games, is defense.
Yeah.
So that's the spotlight that shines, right? You mentioned it now. You don't have to deal with the elusiveness. You have to deal with the elusiveness of Jordan Love, but you don't have to deal with the running ability like Justin Fields has. Does that change how you're gonna approach this? And I think Aaron Jones is out, which hurts them a little bit in their running game. Not that it was anything special this year, but you can make a statement. This is a great statement game for the defense.
And it's a great statement game for the offense too to
both.
come back. Yeah,
right.
like I think, and that's what's so bizarre, right? You're playing a losing team at home on Thanksgiving, a game that you should be favored in and nobody should worry about. But if you win this game, it's a statement for us fans. Right? And every game is a statement game. The Chicago game was a statement game. Beating LA in LA was a statement game. Going to Arrowhead was a statement game. And I think that's the point Spencer was making. Every game is a statement game this season. Every tackle is important. It's almost like we've been in playoff mode since beating the Packers last year in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's you can't slip up, especially when you're at the top of that pecking order. When you're seeing the top 10 lists in the NFL and the Lions are 2 or 3 or wherever they fall on your personal top 10, you can't slip up. You can't lose to the Bears. You can't lose to Green Bay on Thanksgiving because that makes people think you're a pretender. So you got to go out there, you got to win every game, and like I said, especially if you're trying to get that 1 seed, because Philly just beat KC by the skin of their teeth. I know they got a murderer's row gauntlet coming up. I don't expect them to lose 3 more games this season, so you can't slip up. If you want that number 1 seed, you can't lose another game.
Yeah, and we've just never had to deal with these pressures before. It was like, all right, if they win, yeah, like it was always just a bonus if the Lions won.
For sure.
Now if they lose, it's a major thing.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to me how fast this has turned, but also how long it took to get here. It's a weird, it's like life,
Yeah.
Like life goes by very fast, but also it drags on for a long time too. And that's what I feel. The Lions rebuild dragged on forever, but when it came fast.
Came hard.
Coming hard.
Oh yeah.
I want to come. Shout out to Mr. Trump.
What the fuck?
We got that as a sound drop.
Oh yeah.
And the chat's point, Anson gets a lot of crap on the post-game show because he's so hurt and he doesn't believe in what's going on right now. He's still waiting for the other shoe to drop, and he says he won't drop the SOL thing until they get to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl. And I think that's just such an insane bar. Because if the Lions make the Super Bowl this year and lose, I am not looking at this team as a failure. I'm not.
Dude, but there's Hansons out there all over. Let them go hang out with each other and talk to each other. It's just not the reality that I live in.
Right. Yeah, right? Me and you, I think when me and you are watching the game, me and you have similar mindsets.
Absolutely. Because we see it. And yes, that SOL creeps in, but I'll tell you, it's smaller and smaller. Right? Like, even to that, when it was 23-14, I almost text Booner and said, bet Lions to win this game right now.
Yeah.
Right? And I would said, if you want to score 24-23, it seemed like it might end up that way. But they're never out of it. They can make those adjustments. Yes, we all agree. They got to find a way to get home, but they got to put themselves in the right position. And I agree with you. They weren't in the right position until later in the game, and that's why they were effective. Again, somebody brought it up here. How can you not and I'll say this to what Dan Campbell said about allowing people in the red zone, stuff like this. They got 4 turnovers and they only got 16 points.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there.
Right.
So the adjustments or whatever else, it's just that I don't expect them to make. I expect them to learn from that, because what also good teams do is they don't put themselves in that position or in that spot.
So what do the Lions have to do this Thursday to not put themselves in that position? What do you think is the main thing that they have to do to win this game?
Don't turn the ball over. That's the number one basic thing. You've got a way a couple times this year of losing the turnover battle and winning the game, which doesn't happen, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Jared Goff goes back on one of his 200, non-throw interception streak again. But it's something that as a pro, if you're Jared Goff, you've been around and stuff like this, and you know that, for lack of a better term, you lose. That's all on you. You're going to accept it, but you went out there and found a way to do it, don't put yourself in that position again. And I don't think the game plan has to be wide open like it, did against, San Diego or stuff like this. They just got to get back to their basics. If they can run the ball, which they should be able to do, and play action, it's just going to open everything up.
Yeah, I think to me the most important thing is to get out to an early lead in this game. The Lions haven't done that in a little bit. Even though they were leading going into halftime last game, the Bears obviously took the lead on the very first possession, and the Lions were chasing from there. Yeah. When the Lions get up early and are able to pressure the quarterback, it's those two things combined. That's when the Lions put on beat down.
When you get up early, then you can just rely on what you do better than any team in the NFL, which is run the ball. You have the best offensive line in the NFL. You have arguably the best running back duo in the NFL. So if you get up early and you can just feed Gibbs and feed Monty, it spells success for whatever day it is.
Yeah, so I think there's many keys, but those are my keys. D-Mac, you have your keys. Spencer, you have your keys. And the key for you is Swiss Insurance.
Absolutely. Football's on the brain. College, professional sports. It's an awesome year. This weekend is awesome. You got Michigan, Ohio State. You got the Lions game Thursday. It just keeps coming. It's also the perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. So shop it with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Give our buddy Mark a call today, 248-800-4177, or go to SwissINS.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Are you tired of wearing the same old stuff? Well, you know what? The holidays are coming up and the Lions are doing so damn well. Get on the bandwagon. Go to woodwardsports.com/shop. Get that holiday shopping because everybody wants something from Woodward Sports. You see the nice beanie up there. We got some great designs. Stoked, not scared, in honor of our man D-Mac. Go to woodwardsports.com right now /shop.
The draft experience was shitty.
My high school dating experience was shitty.
I can tell you all 16 receivers and where they went to college.
I can tell you every girl that put me in the friend zone, every girl that shot me down, what grade it was, and what she said to me. Sarah Williams, freshman year at a house party, says, quote, I want to be single. Got a boyfriend the next day. Beth Samuel, junior year, I got benched during a football game. Afterwards, she came up to me and said, I want to date a starter. Kelsey McFarland, 10th grade. I took her to dinner, paid for dinner, and she told me I was the best guy friend
I've ever had.
Rachel Fletcher, took her to a party with my friend. She said, I like you,
but I like your friend better.
That was in 12th grade. Emily Westfall, senior year. I asked her to go to prom with me. She said, quote, sorry, I already have a date. She didn't even go to prom. Tanya Allen, Heather Talbert, Lindsay Turner, Leslie Frazier. It's okay, though, because now, here I am, working at Woodward Sports. They all got fat after high school, and the only thing I want back are my hoodies.
Give me back those damn hoodies.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
That is friggin' priceless.
Quality content.
That is.
I mean, people don't forget.
Hey, Stick, I once said, hockey players will forgive. We never forget. You're along the line. So maybe you have been in the locker room.
It's fair.
Well, everybody keeps lists. Amon-Ra can name everybody that passed on him in the draft. I can name all the chicks that passed on me in high school.
There you go.
Ha! Look at you.
Look at you now.
Look at you.
White Lake.
And now I'm living at White Lake, baby.
Yeah.
And where are you at?
Man.
That's a good point.
Welcome to Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. That, of course, is Darren McCarty. Spenmo Rax is here. Michael Gentry in the sound booth. That, of course, was Amon-Ra St. Brown. It gets brought up pretty much every national televised game. Mm-hmm. It's going to be one of those Matthew Stafford, Clayton Kershaw things that, like, we're sick of hearing about it in Detroit, but nationally they're always going to talk about it, how he can name it, how he carries around a notebook. But earlier we were having a conversation about how the coaches have developed players and about how we believe in the drafting. Amon-Ra didn't really get brought up in that conversation, but while it was going on, is Amon-Ra St. Brown the most important non-first-round draft pick of all time for the Detroit Lions? Because we were talking about culture and about when it changed and how it changed. And when you can get an elite guy in the 4th round, that's like stealing 2 first-round picks, essentially, right? If they redrafted again, Amon-Ra St. Brown would be a first-round pick.
Oh, congratulations. You just got Amon-Ra St. Clown.
Exactly. Is he the most important draft pick in Lions history outside of a first-round pick, like a Barry, like a Stafford, like a Calvin? I could point to all those guys, but outside the first round, is there a better draft pick in Lions history?
No, I think also, too, just quickly thinking about it with the career that he's going to have at the end of the day, because he's not slowing down. Better and better and better, and just more and more on the same page as Goff when you need those catches, that touchdown on the goal line, different things like that. And it's the work ethic and lead by example. I said it earlier. Culture in that locker room, if I'm a young receiver or, young player, I'll follow Amon-Ra around.
Right.
Sure, my hands are going to be sore. Gentry couldn't do it because he couldn't catch 200 jugs balls a day.
He could catch Nerf balls.
Well, maybe.
I got hands, man.
I understand. But that's where it starts. And that's where it makes the message. Because Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you were going to create the Dan Campbell prodigy player, you'd make him bigger. But that's exactly the heart. This guy plays so much bigger, and I think that finally he's getting the respect. But Stick without going deep into the computer and stuff like that to see who's against, is that it's got to be. And that's what round was Milt Plum selected. He's got to be a first rounder. So
I don't think he got drafted by the Lions. But
there you go.
Real Cream of Wheat makes a good point. He says Jelani Tavai. Jelani Tavai and Tease Tabor could be up there. They played a pivotal factor into getting Quinn Trisha fired. Into getting Quinn Trisha out of here. Jelani Tavai and Tease Tabor played an important factor into that. So, we got to give them thanks.
I'm looking, Chris Spielman was mentioned. When was Spielman drafted? What round was he drafted in? Because that would definitely be one that you could throw in the ring, because Chris Spielman. Honestly, Chris Spielman playing, but also the impact he's had on this current culture too. Yeah. Like, he's a ripple effect draft from a long time ago.
Jason Hansen says Day Juice. That's the one I was thinking of too. But all-time leading scorer.
It's cute. It's cute, right? But you can't say that, right? What did Hansen?
No, you can. You could say that because of what he did or whatever, but if then you're going to, say impact to this team or whatever.
My dad said Spielman was the 29th pick in the second round.
In the second round, okay. So that's the conversation to be had then, Spielman or Amon-Ra St. Brown. But outside of those two, it's just crazy to me that you look back on that draft and, you go back to the war room and Brad Holmes. People wanted the Lions to take a wide receiver early in that draft, if you remember. Like, even second round early. And you go back to the war room and there's footage of Brad Holmes saying, we got our guy, we can wait to get him. And they did exactly that. None of us knew at the time that it was going to turn out to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. And none of us knew, even if it was Amon-Ra St. Brown, what the hell he would turn into. Yeah. But look at what they added during that draft. Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown. 2 elite, all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber players on your offense. Like, that to me, I always ask the question what the turning point is, but those two culture guys and those two talented guys at that moment, that was the major leap forward that I think accelerated the growth of the Lions.
I can't argue with you. If I was going to bring up somebody else that was a fifth rounder that got back, that replaced Spielman, Stephen Boyd, who was a two-time Pro Bowler and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but again, you look at what did it mean to the team. We didn't win a playoff game. It didn't get us anywhere. So, no. You look at right now sitting 8-2. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, it's the solidification of the front three and Penei Sewell, adding it to Ragnow and Decker, right? Which are arguably, no, not arguably. That's our best unit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? The offensive line. And look at what you're plugging in. Sorsdahl, new position, you know, gets the job done. So, yes, this won't even be a question at the end of Amon-Ra St. Brown's career.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, it should go down as the greatest late-round draft pick in Detroit Lions history.
Brandon Katz supposed to go. Darius Slay.
Slay was serviceable. I mean, listen.
Slay was a dog, man. Slay
was never great.
Slay was great.
Slay was never great.
Yeah, he was.
Early in his career, he was not great. He gave up more big plays than he prevented.
Slay was great.
I like Slay, and I'm not dogging him, but
He's not Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's the comparison right now, right? If I'm comparing Darius Slay to other cornerbacks that we drafted, yeah, he's probably the best cornerback we've drafted in the past decade for sure.
Yes.
But Amon-Ra St. Brown is just a whole nother level, and when you can add that to an offense, you know, that it's just so crazy to think about how fast that accelerates what you're doing. And, you know, and Jared Goff was talking this morning to the Lions flagship station, and he was talking about how much of a security blanket that is and how comforting it is to have that guy on the field, knowing that when I throw to him, 95% of the time, it's going to be a completion.
Yeah.
And to provide that for your quarterback and give him the best protection on the right side in the NFL in the same draft it's just amazing.
No, it is, and that's what you need. So, and that's what you're working with, and only going to get better. I believe he's only going to get better. You're just seeing the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Right. To me, he's a legit 7 to 10 catch a game guy, 100-yard guy. If you want to use him in that way.
And it's interesting how he gets them, because he's not blazing fast. He's not beating you with that. He's just beating you with technique and just the ability to have clamps
and pristine
as hands.
Route running.
Oh, you look last night to Patrick Mahomes, right? Mm-hmm. And they have 5 drop passes, one that potentially could have won the game and put the Lions in the first place in the NFL.
Nice catch, Hardman.
Oh, Hardman dropping that ball, but. We got to admit, those drop balls helped the Lions, too, when we were playing Kansas City.
Yeah.
But 9% of Patrick Mahomes' passes have been dropped this season. 9%. That's not going to happen with a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It shouldn't happen with most guys.
It shouldn't happen in the NFL, period. Right. But it was amazing last night watching drop after drop
Well, we saw it
drop.
First game of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Darius Toney or whatever.
Kadarius, yep.
Yeah, we saw... so, yeah, you got to take advantage of that. So, and here's the one thing, who said it? He's not a diva.
Yeah.
Right? Let's go Red Wings party. And he's not a diva. Right? Which is everything that you want. So you can build around it.
I can't see a diva popping up in this locker room, right? Could you?
Like, would you say that, okay, right, because the biggest sort of diva or whatever, to me, is shrouded with like immaturity, it would be Jameson Williams.
Yeah,
but
that's perception, right?
Perception, but he's not. You watch how hard he plays and you listen to what they're talking about at camp. He wouldn't be getting the opportunity. I love the fact, you heard the quote when he came out, hey man, we never ran 2-minute drills in Alabama because you were always up. Right. So being on the field, and he was on for 65% of the offensive plays, he's making his way into this lineup. He's making himself valuable. He's making himself, one of these guys, not just like Josh Reynolds, Sam Laporta, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I don't care if all he does is a deep threat, because with confidence, you're going to throw it And hopefully you throw it to him a couple times, he's going to get one of them.
Yeah, and the true tell that he's not a diva is the guy's getting 3 passes a game, right? He's getting 3 looks a game, and he's not complaining about it. He's not hanging his head. What's he doing? He's throwing blocks when he's not getting the ball his way, and that's what you want to see out of somebody. You don't want to see them pouting and crying and throwing their helmet on the sideline. It's almost like you want to see that to see how this team would respond, because I think that person would get their ass thrown out of that locker room faster than any of us could think. And be like, all right, next day, he's either cut or traded if you act like that around these guys, because it's grown men only on this Detroit Lions team, and it's a bunch of big boys. And if you like big boy food, ooh, it's cold out, it's rainy, this is when the comfort food is good for you. You got those classic potato pancakes, stuffed potato pancakes, plus that veal parmigiana. Oh, looks so damn good. Down home comfort potato pancakes going on right now at Big Boy.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. Go to drinkcintron.com/Vegas to figure out how you can sign up to win.
Welcome back to Big D Energy live on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule, who is in the Bahamas with sunshine and an ocean, and I'm sure a pina colada in his hand, while we get a nice, rainy, cold day here in Metro Detroit, looking out behind DMAC on Woodward Avenue. Looking beautiful out. Winter is coming, everybody. It's on the way. Another game that is coming that we haven't talked about, Michigan versus Ohio State University. DMAC, that game's happening Saturday. This build-up this year is pretty exciting. The last time I remember this type of build-up for Michigan-Ohio State is when David Boston was talking shit to Charles Woodson. Like, that's the last time I remember this type of hype, this type of trash talk going on, not only between players now, but between coaches. Harbaugh saying, I don't give a damn about their coaching staff. Ryan Day accusing them, well, we know what happened the last 2 years, and, you know, implying that the only reason they won was cheating. This has a potential to be an all-time great matchup between these two schools. What do you think going into this weekend, D-Mac?
Well, it's unfortunate. My first question is the fact that we've had 2 games without Harbaugh on the sidelines. Are you worried about that as a Michigan fan, not having him there? Is that the difference, having your coach on the sidelines, you know, and play calling in different situations? I know that you're at home and you're going into it, but isn't that some of the questions that are going to be answered? So when I have Michigan questions, go to my left. I go to Go right to the TD booth to Soft Hands himself.
Old Cotton Hands Gentry.
The baby sneezer. Mike Gentry. So where are you at, Gentry? You like where your spot is going into this weekend, or?
I would definitely rather have Jim Harbaugh on the sidelines if that's what you're asking. And I mean, the last 2 games haven't been too great. Obviously, Maryland, there were some struggles there, and then Penn State, you don't throw the ball. Obviously, going into this game, I want them to open up the playbook a little bit. You're not going to be able to run it every single down against Ohio State's defense. Even though this Ohio State's offense is a little worse than years past, they can still put some points up. They still have the best wide receiver in the NCAA on the other side of the field. So you got to be able to contain him, and you're going to have to open up the offense a little bit. You can't run it every single play. Ohio State's going to put up points.
Yeah, and that honestly, when the penalty came down for Jim Harbaugh, I thought it was just a slap on the wrist, right? I mean, literally all they've suspended him for is 12 hours of 3 weeks, right? It's just game time. He's allowed to coach the team all week. He's allowed to be there before they go in the stadium. He's allowed to help with the game plan. And I'll preface this: I'm not a Michigan guy. I support Michigan because I'm from Michigan. I want to see all teams in Michigan do well. I want to see State do well. I want to see Ferris State do well. I'm rooting for Michigan in this, and plus, I absolutely despise Ohio State for other reasons we can get into later. But either way, Michigan really needs to focus on what Jim Harbaugh would do in those situations, right? And that's where the trust factor, and honestly, you had it earlier in the season with 3 games without him. So you had a small training of what it was going to be like without him. And D-Mac,
but you're not playing Ohio State.
You could give me some input on this too. If your coach is there all week long with preparation, coming up with the game plan, there in practice, there before the game, and all that, but he's not there on the sidelines and you look over, how much does that affect you as a player?
Well, I mean, I think it depends how experienced and it shouldn't affect this Michigan team that has the Quorums and the Edwards and the McCarthys and the veteran, the Sandristle, and that has the veteran guys there. This should be the most important week of practice that they've had, so that they're all on the same page. There should be, I think he means this, he doesn't mean that. To me, more so, it's in the coaching staff, so that there's no question as far as what we're going to do, the game plan, start the game, and stuff like this. You have home field advantage. You're supposed to go out and do this. The fact of what it means if you do, because that's the juice. Brian Day being able to say, you won last 2 years because you cheated. Well, we're going to go out here without our coach and we're going to beat you now, and then we're going to have all the bragging rights in the world. This is what it's all about as an athlete. I want this smoke. Michigan tells me that they want this smoke, so now they got to go out and execute and do it. To your point, they've had 5 games without him, right?
Right.
Now, none of those games were against Ohio State, but you have a track record the last couple of years, different things that you're going to do. The one big thing, if I go back to last year's game, it was the big plays, right?
Yeah,
Michigan,
Donovan Edwards.
Right, big plays. This year, Ohio State hasn't been giving up big plays. So is that sort of a factor? So I have confidence that Michigan will win this game. They need to win this game. They got to put everything else behind it and just go out and play. And the fact that they have the leadership on the field with the veteran guys that they do, that it's all up to them.
Honestly, I think the suspension of Harbaugh put more pressure on Ryan Day than Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah. Well,
because now Michigan's kind of takes the pressure off. You're kind of playing with house money, right? If you lose, you have a built-in excuse. You do. And we all know that. Well, we didn't have our head coach. The NCAA was against us. The Big Ten's against us. Yada, yada, yada. You can lean on that. You shouldn't lean on that. But if you win, it's now an even bigger. We didn't even need our coach and your team's trash. You did everything under the sun to make sure we wouldn't win this game, and we still won this game. Ryan Day is the one with all the pressure on him. What? Ohio State's the one with all the pressure on him. Not Michigan and a coach without their coach.
I agree. More so to win this game, because you want to put somebody on the hot seat, and I think you'd have to ask Buckeye fans, if Brian Day loses to Michigan this year,
gone.
Is he gone?
Yeah, he's got to be gone, right?
Yeah.
Like Brian Day to Michigan State. There you go, boys.
My roommate is a huge Ohio State fan, and he was saying the exact same thing yesterday, that if they lose this game, Ryan Day has to be gone. So
Yeah, and that's why all the pressure's on Ohio State, and you're hoping that force Ryan Day to do some uncharacteristic things, maybe take some uncharacteristic gambles, because he feels that pressure, and he knows this is a must-win. If Michigan loses this game, it's going to suck, obviously, for the entire state, except for Spencer and all the Michigan State people. Woo! But if Michigan loses this game, it's definitely going to be awful. And but I don't think any pressure goes on Jim Harbaugh except to, hey, straighten up so you could coach the whole fucking season, please. Let's get this right. But if Ryan Day loses, he's gone, done. I don't think we'll ever hear from him again. Where does he go to coach? Like Albion?
No, he'll get another job in Power 5, I'm sure, but it's not going to be at Ohio State.
You think so?
Yeah, he'll get another Power 5.
Maybe like an Arizona or an Arizona State,
exactly.
something like that.
Not like he's not going to Texas or anything like that, but
Right.
he'll get a Power 5 job somewhere.
God, what a crazy existence it must be to be a college football coach like that, to where you've built your whole life, you've had successful programs, but one game can decide what you are and how you're perceived for the remainder of your existence.
That's what happens, man. It all comes down. Those rivalry games mean more.
It's wild to me. It's absolutely
you
wild.
know, in Michigan, this is a game you've been playing for all year. This sets you up to the path, being the favorite. An odds-on favorite, a team to be playing for the national championship. So forget when kickoff happens at noon. You got to put everything out. I agree in the chat thread. Turnover battle. That's going to be huge. Those are certain things. I think exactly what you said about the Lions.
Yep.
Coming out because was the Michigan game against Penn State sort of not the Lions game against Chicago? It was one of these things that. You got the win. You maybe didn't do it as pretty as you wanted, but you can't start off like you got to be able to finish, and you've learned to that. So
I thought that was one of the most disrespectful wins of all time in college football, what Michigan did to Penn State. I thought it was so disrespectful what they did. They're like, all right, you're a top 2 run defense. You know what we're going to do? We're going to run the ball down your throat till you can't breathe.
Absolutely.
Like, I loved every bit of that.
Did anybody ever talk about James Franklin and with 4 minutes left on his own 31 going for it and just pretty much giving the game away? I mean, like, that's a guy who we've always said, just like, how does he still have a job?
Yeah, I think Annie Agar put it best on Twitter. James Franklin just got out-coached by a team without a coach.
Well said. Well said, Ms. Agar.
Annie's hilarious.
Annie's hilarious. I know. I follow her too.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So, Michigan, Ohio State. Do you want to give our score predictions tomorrow, D-Mac, or you want to do it now? All right, we'll save the score predictions till tomorrow.
Let's save those till tomorrow. We can talk about it again as we get closer.
But I'm so excited about this game, and there aren't many college football games that I get excited for. I'm like David Bakhtiari.
I'm stoked at noon. I'm stoked that it's a noon game.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It just feels right, feels real. You know that stadium's going to be packed. It's everything you've waited for all year. Really, this is like the one game all year you wait for.
Yeah, and
because
honestly, it's the
most.
1 year old game that Michigan plays. Like, as much as I love Michigan,
well, they better.
Hey, you got to play who's on the schedule, but also you scheduled the schedule too. Mm-hmm. So I just hate that. That's the one thing I hate about college football is just how predictable it is week to week. There's maybe like maybe 2 or 3 games every week where it's a good matchup and an upset may happen. That's it. Outside of that, it's a very predictable game.
Fair enough.
You want to be secure, D-Mac?
I always want to be secure. If you want to be secure, Stick or anybody else out there, Guardian Alarm is where to go. Customized solutions from real experts, professional technicians who take the time to recommend security and automated solutions specific to your needs. But I need you to call Guardian today. The number, 1-800.
Stay out.
24/7 professional monitoring, call anytime, day or night. Know the Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as it's needed. But I need you to call the number, 1-800.
Stay out.
Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Business, personal, it doesn't matter. Guardian has your back. But I need you to call the number today, 1-800.
Stay out. Stay out of playing 2 games in like 2 weeks, Red Wings. I feel like I haven't watched them in forever.
Stay out of the net, Jack Hughes.
We'll talk Red Wings next.
Absolutely. Guardian Alarm, local security experts. Whatever you need, give them a call.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty.
I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have DMAC on your landscaping crew.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service the customers have come to know and trust. On Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. Find the brand you want. LesStanford.com.
Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. That is Darren McCarty. Spencer is here. Michael Gentry is here. Spencer, did you get that Harbaugh video I sent you?
I grabbed one.
Okay.
From Twitter.
Yeah, the one I sent you. We just got done talking about Michigan, Ohio State. We're going to talk Red Wings next, but even if you hate Jim Harbaugh, you got to admit, this dude is one of one. There'll never be another Jim Harbaugh. He's a quirky, weird dude. And listen to the joke he made earlier during a press conference.
Go back to that, it's like the Ted Lasso show, you know, believe. And what comes out of that is believe. And I'm just so proud of our team.
His videos are so quiet on Twitter.
Yeah, no. Play the one I sent you too. He makes a joke about his mom.
Yeah, that's the one.
And earlier in the week, he was talking about chickens. How he didn't like chickens, how he thought they were frail birds, but now he understands like they're worker birds and they deliver eggs every day, and he like hangs out with chickens. I mean, remember when he first got here, he was like climbing trees with recruits, showing up with sleeping bags for sleepovers. As if you hate Jim Harbaugh, that's fine, but you gotta laugh at some of his antics, man. It's gotta make him at least a little bit likable in some aspect.
This one's really quiet too.
This one too?
Yeah.
The one that I sent you?
Yeah.
It's loud on my Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's try it. See what we got here.
No, I just ran it and it's too quiet.
Oh. All right, then let's talk Red Wings for that. But either way, he says something about his mom in a bathing suit. You never want to see it in two pieces.
The locker room's in one piece.
Yeah, the locker room's in one piece. Just like my mom's bathing suit. It's like, whose brain goes that way in a public speaking forum where you start talking about your mom's two-piece?
Someone on Twitter said it was from a show. I forget.
Is it Ted Lasso?
I'm not too sure. Honestly, I've never seen that show. So
You've never seen Ted Lasso?
No.
I think you would enjoy it.
All right, maybe I'll check it out.
You should check it out. All right, Red Wings hockey. What's going on with the Red Wings? Michael Gentry, Darren McCarty, Chomp and Puck mini episode right now.
Well, obviously they stole 1 point out of the Sweden road trip, so they're coming into a big game tomorrow. And after that, you play like 4 tough opponents in the Bruins, Wild, Rangers, and I want to say the Hawks after that. But it's a big game tonight. You cannot start off slow against the Devils, even though they are going to be missing a couple star players. They know how to put the puck in the net. You cannot be chasing like you always do. So the defense is going to have to show up. I think Lyon will be in net tonight again. I think Husso still got the night off. So
we're talking
tomorrow.
about
Sorry.
tomorrow night?
Yep. Tomorrow. So it's going to be a big game.
It's screwed up. Spenny said 2 weeks without 2 games in 2 weeks. And you know what? This is they're in the part of the schedule. They just got to get points, and they're not doing it. So they play the way that they've played in the last few weeks. They won't be a playoff team. They play the way they did at the beginning of the year. They are. It's going to be ebbs and flows, in and out. On the outside looking in, the games, all of them are hard. I don't care what it is. You got to find a way to get your points. And now it's glaring, right? You shout out to Ville Husso and his newborn child, but he missed 2 games in Sweden and stuff like this. Does this give Alex Lyon more of an opportunity to come in? But the bottom line is when you're playing rotation with your goaltenders and you don't have a number one, you ain't a playoff team, right? It's going to be tough to get there, especially when you're not fighting injuries. Another thing too, and I'm going to give a shout out Alex Nedeljkovic, who scored a goal in the minor leagues as a goalie for Wilkes-Barre Scranton, came up and shut out team the other night for Pittsburgh. So he's figuring out a way. I don't think, and no, that doesn't mean I'm giving him his flowers. Doesn't mean that I think he should be in net for us. I just think that one of these guys has to step up and take the bull by the horns. We're expecting it to be Husso, but you just got to go out and do it, right? Because you're going to lose games and you're not going to get points. And next thing you know, you're on the outside looking in. Because some of these teams that had a tough start, and the Ottawas, maybe the Buffaloes, stuff like this, they're going to find their way. So more times than not, if you continue playing consistently, you consistently slow start the way that you are, and that's the biggest thing to this team. They're not ready to go when the puck's dropped. You do that, by Christmas time, you won't be a playoff
Whose
team.
fault is that?
It's got to be on the coach.
It's the coach?
You got to be on the coach. I mean, you could yell at the players or whatever, but the responsibility. Like, the coach has got to get
Gentry giving you that look like,
Well, it's players at the end. It's always players at the end of the day. But where does the message change? The message, there's got to be accountability. Yeah. Now, we know this team can score, right? But it's suspect on defense. There's some age requirements. I like the fact Derek Lalonde said they're going to go with 11 forwards and 7D. They're 3-0 this year when they've done that. But that's where they're in the position to do that. Why? Because they don't have 6 guys that can carry the load on defense. They need 7. Guys are getting exposed, Sherratt, Petrie at certain times. So the question marks that you've had for this team in net and on defense are glaring right now.
Yeah, and to touch on your point a little bit, as bad as their starts have been, closing games when you have a lead or when you're in a close game has been horrible too. They have to be more disciplined. They cannot keep taking penalties within the last 5 minutes of games, putting teams on the power play and bringing them right back into it. You're not going to win games like that. And we've seen how many games in this season already that have came down to the last 5 minutes where the Red Wings have even cost it, or in overtime they've done a terrible penalty or whatnot that's literally cost them the game. So you have to be more disciplined as it goes, and you have to start stronger. And maybe that has to do something with switching up something on the defense, switching up your line that starts the game, maybe even bringing up some of your youth as far as defensemen goes. But something ain't right now, and you need to change.
Yeah, it seems like this rebuild has kind of hit a plateau right now. It seemed like it was ascending.
You're scoring goals.
Yeah, you're scoring goals.
You're scoring goals, you're doing things, but you're glaring misses, which it wasn't. It was apparent that this is going to be the problem. Your defense and your goaltending and keeping the puck out of your net. Now, you could be a playoff team if you play discipline, if you get a lead and you can hold the lead. These are non-negotiables. But obviously they can't do it. Right now, they're not a playoff team.
But
they're not good
been,
enough.
But they should have been this year, right? All things
they
telling
they
last
should,
year.
Dude, right, exactly. And the way that they started off, they just need consistency. And the consistency they need is what Mike says is their discipline needs to be consistent, their start needs to be consistent, their finish. If you don't tell if you think you got the right guys here, then it's coaching. And coaching is putting the right guys in the right position on the right line in the
I'm going to ask you a tough question then, D-Mac.
No such things, Dick.
All right. At what point do you start questioning the Yzer plan?
Never. You don't. Okay. Why are you questioning it in this? Because if
I'm questioning Troy Weaver and what he's doing with the Pistons
now.
No,
you can't because it's building, and you listen to Steve Yzerman when he talks. Steve Yzerman said before this season they're not a playoff team, even though Darren McCarty took the clock off and said they were. Because Mike, did he not say that?
Yeah, no, he did.
Right. He said they're not there yet because he hasn't been able to add the pieces to whatever it is.
And that's fine. Owning your slow start's one thing, but addressing it and getting better is quite another. Like, I can say I haven't done my job, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do my job.
But in year number and I take away the first 2 years because you got to get the books right.
Okay.
Right? So it's growing and it's getting better. Do you look at this lineup and is this lineup better than the last game of last season? Yes. But they got to come together. To Mikey's point, at different times, they're inconsistent and not playing there. So the thing is that if you need a couple different defensemen, you need that go-to goaltender. Yes, because you have improved in your goals for, your power play, all this other stuff. Like you're just
so
way too soon.
As long as you're seeing continual improvement, you're fine with it, right?
Yeah, and you don't want to see the same mistakes over and over again.
Because that's what I'm saying. In 7 years, if the Red Wings are still the same, do we start
but that's 7 years, dude.
Like 7 years from the start.
If you want to,
7 years from the start of the rebuild, not 7 years from today.
So what are we saying? 1920.
So you got 3 more years.
3 years.
3 years.
I said in 2 years to 3 years you're playing for a cup. Right? This year you should make the playoffs. Next year you should make the playoffs and make some noise.
Are you moving that back now?
No, I ain't changing it.
Okay.
Dude, how many games have we played? How many? What's the record? 8, 6, and 2.
8, 6, and 3. Sorry.
8, 6, and 3. 17 games out of 82. Quick math, right? 20% of the season. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I usually wait
back
until
in your
like
fucking hole.
20 games in where I start making
or
opinions.
argue.
Yeah,
put him on the shelf. Let's hang Steve Eisman. He's done. It doesn't work.
You better be careful. Someone's going to
saving
clip that.
Your money
Someone's going to clip that without context and throw that out there.
Gives a fuck.
I love you, D-Man.
Listen, right? The money's there. It's either for the 1C top guy and maybe that goaltender, right? Because it doesn't seem that goaltender's in this system developing or going to be here when it's time.
Okay.
But again,
I would just say I wait a little bit before I start putting out judgmental pieces on the Red Wings as I write about them. But one thing through 20 games that I just don't understand so far, the defensive core has struggled, and there has been a sum of 3 guys. I'm not going to call out names. People, if you watch the Red Wings, you'll know who they are. Have been struggling, it seems like, every other game. And if you're going 11-7, there's no way you can tell me that Simon Edvinsson isn't better than at least 3 of those defensemen out there. And that's one thing about it. I love having veterans. You definitely need them. But when you're overloaded with them, and at this point, it almost seems like it's slowing down your defense and slowing down the tempo and your breakouts and stuff like that. I don't want to say I'm a coach or anything like that, but there's no way you'll tell me that Simon Edvinsson shouldn't be in the lineup right now.
To your point, Michael, I believe that if the brass feels that it's it's slipping quicker than later, then they'll bring those guys up because now it's time to develop. I just don't think, here's the thing, that they're ready. They want to give them all the minutes down in the minors. They can play 20-plus minutes in every situation. That's going to get you to learn. So if they keep playing 500 hockey and are around it, I would expect you're going to see changes sooner than later.
All right. Well, you heard it from 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty. The captain's still going to be the captain for a long time, so quit doubting that dude. Michael Gentry, thank you for your input on there. And who's going to tell me about Dispo, baby?
I will. And right now, if you didn't know, over at the Dispo in Hazel Park, our own Braylon Edwards from the bottom line is out there giving away turkeys. It started at noon today. You can still get over there giving away turkeys over at the Dispo in Hazel Park, 634 West 9 Mile in Hazel Park. Get there, receive turkey, wallet, your supplies. All you have to do is purchase product from Dispo Hazel Park this afternoon. You can pull up, re-up, and grab your bird for Thanksgiving dinner only with Dispo.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Join Woodward Sports and Spenny's new favorite long drink live Thursday. Yes, Thursday morning, Thanksgiving. Fisher Lions VIP tailgate, Eastern Market Shed 5. Going to be a bash. You can join there, a pregame with Woodward Sports. Want to be treated like a VIP. They got food, beverages, entertainment, all included. Tickets online today, bullseyeeventgroup.com. Win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and direct message at Lions VIP.
Slide in the DMs. Get that VIP treatment, girl. Welcome to Big D Energy. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. I'll be here tomorrow with the one, the only Darren McCarty. Michael Gentry is here. Spenmo Rax is here. And it is now time to go into the chat for some questions. So if you got something you want to ask D-Mac, you got something you want to ask Gentry about how he keeps his hands so soft, you can do that. His regimen every night with the paraffin wax. It works perfectly. Spenmo Rax, you can ask him questions. You can ask me questions. Let us know. Just get in the chat right now. It's been a fun show today. We've discussed a lot of things. D-Mac, I love when you get heated about your boy Stevie Y. I love how you, like, I can't even question Stevie without you looking at me like I'm Claude Lemieux.
No, you can't. I mean, because it's not time. I mean, take all your ire and point it towards Troy Weaver because he deserves questions to be asked. You leave Steve Yzerman alone until it's time. It's coming to be time. Guys, I promise you, I will be the first one to criticize and jump. I'll have great questions from Michael Gentry to ask. Scathing questions. It's just not the time. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Question, who is in the studio audience? D-Mac, will you want to talk about who your guests are today?
Our guests?
Our guests,
on Big
yes,
Energy?
Yes.
Well, Sandy's here. Sandy, did you send in the popcorn machine? You did? So the boys in the back, there's a Stanley Cup popcorn machine with all of it. And she made sure that the boys got reloaded. If you haven't had the Canadian sour cream
and
bacon Ruffles chips,
they're really good.
They are phenomenal. So
you did it again, Canada.
They always do it. We were talking about that. We got Shreddies. You know the Canada food.
Oh yeah. Canadian Kit Kats are so much better than American Kit Kats. It's weird.
Why?
Well,
it's just like Mexicokes. Like the
got
Mexicokes, they're so much better than American Cokes. Because that real sugar. We put a bunch of crap in ours. D-Mac, is there an answer out there for goalie for the Red Wings this year?
Probably not. Probably
as far
because
as trading for one? Or no, you're gonna roll with the goalies you have.
No,
right
when
now,
you get it, when you get into it, you can start looking at who are free agent goalies, who are goalies that are on the end of their career, who's somebody that's going to be looking for $1, and then you got to figure out if he's a Stevie guy. So you got to remember, Stevie drafted Vasilevsky. We're supposed to. He drafted Costa, and he drafted Trey Augustine out of Sparties.
Yep.
So if those guys if they're ready, but it takes some development time. So if you need somebody in the meantime, but as far as right now, no, you're gonna ride with these three guys whether you like it or not.
What is your biggest fear for the Lions the rest of the season? And I hate to even answer this question because you're throwing negative stuff out to the universe, and I don't even want to mention what popped in my head when I first read that question. But you guys want to answer that question?
No,
or you want to
the whole thing like anything else, and I'll knock what I'm saying. This is just be healthy.
Lack of pass rush.
But I think that
lack of pass rush?
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay. I'm with D-Mac, but I had one specific player I thought needed to be healthy.
Well, see, that's why
and that name will not be named. We'll call him Voldemort. He will not be named on this show. No, not that person. No. Oh yeah, no, that person.
Yeah.
Yep, that person. If that person gets injured, this whole thing goes down. So
that person don't get injured.
yeah. How can I get autographs from some of you guys like Spencer, Easy? No, I'm sorry. Like D-Mac, Braylon, and Lindsay. Do I have to drive to the D or can I purchase online? Just to stop on by the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are all.
It's your best bet. You
Come
get
on
a
by
picture,
the
too.
ham.
That's one thing I think all of us in this room can tell you about D-Mac, can tell you about Braylon, can tell you about Lindsay, can tell you about all the athletes, the real athletes that are around here, not us high school, polk guys, 4 touchdown guys. But like
4 sacks against
everybody
New Haven.
here is just so accessible, so nice, and
Pull
it
up on us.
really it humanizes them. You're like, oh shit, that's Darren McCarty. He used to beat the hell out of a player. I grew up watching him win Stanley Cups. It's like, but now it's like, what's up, D-Mac?
Yep.
How you doing? We're friends.
That's what it's all
always
about.
is.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So thank you for being such a great contributor to Woodward Sports and the culture here in Detroit, Darren McCarty. We will be back on tomorrow, same time, 11
Mike
to 1.
G said that if you come to the studio, bring conies.
Yeah.
I like
Ooh.
it. And remember, the heavies always be,
We did the
What
JMO
food?
burger yesterday. It was disgusting.
What
with
was
the
JMO?
with the ice cream in
McFlurry
it.
on the McDouble, it was gross.
Ugh.
McFlurry on the McDouble?
Oreo McFlurry on a McDouble. It was,
He does that?
Yeah.
Oh, I could do that.
It was gross.
I could do it all day.
I really do that.
Do you ever dip your burger into your ice cream?
No.
No, fries. I'll do fries
I'll do
and a
fries.
frosty.
Yeah.
Fries and a frosty, baby.
The burger, that was gross. I would never eat that again.
All right. Well,
Oh, good to know.
thank you, Spenmo.
There is something Spenny won't eat.
Hey, it's Ryan Ermanni. They're up next.
Oh!
Braylon will be here. He's in Hazel Park right now, but that's right down Woodward, so he'll be here. We'll see you tomorrow.
This
Big D
is-
Energy. We are out.